Wi-Fi. It's in your home, your coffee shop, your pocket. But have you ever stopped to wonder how a video actually gets from the internet to your phone with no wires at all? Let's break it down. It starts with your device. Your phone or laptop wants to load a page, so it takes that data and encodes it onto invisible radio waves. That's really all Wi-Fi is, your data riding on radio. The same basic physics as an FM station, just carrying internet traffic instead of music. Those waves travel through the air to your router. And the router is the translator. It speaks radio on one side and wires on the other. It hands your data over a cable to the modem, and the modem sends it out onto the wired internet. The reply makes the exact same trip in reverse, all in a fraction of a second. So your router isn't the internet. It's the junction between your wireless devices and the wired world outside. Now, modern routers can talk on up to 3 different radio bands. The oldest is 2.4 gigahertz. Those waves travel far and push through walls well, but the band is slower and it's crowded. Microwaves and baby monitors make noise on it too. The second band is 5 gigahertz. It's much faster, but the waves fade sooner, so distance and especially walls weaken the signal quickly. And the newest band is 6 gigahertz, used by Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. It's the fastest and least crowded of all, a wide open highway. The catch: it has the shortest reach, and both your router and your device need to be new enough to use it. Wi-Fi 7 can even use several bands at once for one connection. One more thing, Wi-Fi is a shared conversation. Your devices take turns talking to the router, one at a time. So the more devices online, the more everyone waits for their turn. So why does this matter to you? 1. Placement. Radio spreads out from the router in every direction, so put it somewhere central and up high. Every wall the signal crosses, especially on the faster bands, costs you speed. 2. Pick the right band. Close to the router, 6 or 5 gigahertz gives you speed. Far away, or through a few walls, 2.4 gigahertz gives you reach. Many modern routers will even pick for you. 3. Security. Those radio waves don't stop at your front door. Anyone nearby can receive them. A strong WPA password is what keeps your traffic scrambled, so neighbors and strangers can't read it. So that's Wi-Fi in one line. Your data on invisible radio waves, with the router translating between your wireless devices and the wired internet. Next time your video buffers, you'll know exactly where to look. I'll see you in the next one. How does your phone know where you are without ever sending a single signal? Here's the twist. GPS is all listening, no talking. High above you, about 30 GPS satellites are constantly circling the Earth. Each one broadcasts the same 2 things, nonstop: its own position in space and the exact time from an atomic clock on board. And your phone? It only listens. It receives those signals, but it never transmits anything back to the satellites. Ever. Here's the clever part. Radio signals travel at the speed of light, so the tiny delay between a satellite sending its message and your phone hearing it tells your phone exactly how far away that satellite is. One satellite gives you one distance. That only puts you somewhere on a giant circle around it. Not very helpful yet. Add a second and a third satellite, and those circles start to overlap. The list of possible places shrinks fast. With 4 or more satellites, the distances all cross at exactly one point. That point is you. The trick is called trilateration, and your phone solves it several times every second. Now, the part most people get wrong. GPS itself needs no internet and no mobile data. The satellites and a little geometry do all the work. What needs data is the map. Those street tiles are downloaded from the internet. That's why your blue duck can be spot on while the map around it refuses to load. An assisted GPS that just uses the network to grab the satellite positions faster. So your first fix takes seconds instead of minutes. So why does this matter to you? 1. The satellites are not tracking you. They can't. Your phone only receives. If your location ends up somewhere, it's an app sharing it, not GPS. 2. Navigation works offline. Download your maps before the trip, and GPS will guide you with no signal at all. 3. GPS loves a clear sky. Tall buildings, canyons, and tunnels block or bounce the signals, and your accuracy drops. So, 30 satellites shouting out their position and the time, one phone quietly listening, and a bit of geometry. That's how your phone knows where you are. Now you know exactly what that blue dot is doing. I'll see you in the next one. You tap your phone at the checkout, it beeps, and you're done. But hang on. Did you just broadcast your car number to everyone standing nearby? Today, how Tap to Pay actually works and why it's probably safer than you think. It starts with your phone or a contactless card. The radio behind it is called NFC, Near Field Communication, and its range is tiny, about 4 centimeters. You basically have to touch the terminal. That tiny range isn't a weakness. It's a security feature. Nobody can read your card from across the room. Now, here's the big one. When you tap, your real card number is never sent. The terminal receives a one-time token instead, a stand-in number created just for this payment. Each tap also carries a cryptogram, a single-use digital signature. So even if a thief somehow grabbed that data, it would be useless. It never works twice. The token travels on to your bank, the only party that can match it back to your real account, and the payment is approved. Paying with a phone adds yet another lock. The tap won't fire until you approve it with Face ID, a fingerprint, or your PIN. And your real car number? It lives inside a dedicated secure chip on the phone. Apps, stores, even a terminal never see it. Compare that to the old magnetic stripe. Every swipe handed over your real card number, the exact same data every time. Criminals could skim it with a cheap hidden reader and clone your card. A tap hands over a one-time token instead, and on a phone, only after your face or finger says yes. So why does this matter to you? 1. Tapping is genuinely safer than swiping. A throwaway token beats your real number every single time. 2. A lost phone won't go shopping without you. No face, no fingerprint, no payment. 3. That fear of a drive-by reader stealing your money? Mostly myth. A 4-centimeter range, one-time tokens, and transaction limits make it a terrible crime. So next time the terminal beeps, relax. That tap was the safest payment in your wallet. I'll see you in the next one. QR codes are everywhere. Menus, parking meters, Wi-Fi logins, boarding passes. You point your camera, and a link just appears. So what is your camera actually seeing? Here's the secret. It's much simpler than it looks. A QR code is just data drawn as a grid of squares. Every little square is 1 bit. A black square means 1, a white square means 0. String those bits together, and they spell out text. Usually it's a web address, like the link to that restaurant menu. Now, those 3 big squares in the corners, those are position markers. They tell your camera exactly where the grid starts and which way is up. That's why a QR code scans from any angle, even upside down. And here's the cleverest part. Every QR code also carries extra, redundant copies of its data. That's called error correction. It means the code still scans when it's scratched, dirty, or partly covered. Depending on the version, up to about 30% of it can be destroyed, and it still works. That's also why companies can punch a logo right into the middle. The logo wipes out real data, and error correction just fills in the gap. So the whole scan takes a split second. First, your camera hunts for those 3 corner markers and locks onto the grid. Then it reads every square, black or white, back into 1s and 0s. It decodes the bits, repairs any damage, and out pops the link. So why does this matter to you? 1. A QR code is just a link you can't read. Scammers exploit that by sticking fake codes over real ones on parking meters and menus. It's called caching. So always preview the URL your phone shows before you tap. 2. A logo or a fancy design in the middle doesn't make a code broken or suspicious. That's just error correction doing its job. And 3. You can make your own in seconds for free. A link, your Wi-Fi password, your contact card. Free generators are everywhere online. So that's the trick. A QR code is just a link, printed as squares your camera can read. Next time you scan one, you'll know exactly what's happening behind the lens. I'll see you in the next one. Put on a pair of noise-canceling headphones on a plane, and the engine roar just disappears. Here's the wild part. The headphones aren't blocking that sound. They're fighting it with more sound. Let me show you. First, remember what sound actually is: a pressure wave. Engine noise is air being squeezed and stretched, racing toward your ear thousands of times a second. Active noise canceling, ANC for short, starts with tiny microphones on the outside of the headphone. They hear the incoming noise a split second before you do. That signal goes to a chip which instantly generates the exact opposite wave. Every peak becomes a dip, every dip becomes a peak. Engineers call it anti-phase. The speaker inside the headphone then plays that anti-wave, layered right under your music. And when a wave meets its exact opposite, they cancel each other out. Peak plus dip equals nothing. That's called destructive interference. All of this happens in microseconds, over and over, so the noise gets flattened before it ever reaches your eardrum. Now, ANC has a specialty. It works best on constant, predictable rumble, plain engines, traffic, the hum of an air conditioner. A steady sound is easy to predict, so it's easy to cancel. But sudden sounds and human voices? Those are too fast and too irregular. By the time the chip has flipped the wave, the sound has already changed. That's where the padding takes over. The physical seal around your ear, called passive isolation, muffles whatever the electronics can't catch. And transparency mode? That's the same outside microphones, just piping the sound in instead of canceling it, so you can hear the world without taking the headphones off. So why does this matter to you? 1. Now you know why ANC kills engine hum, but not the conversation next to you. It's not broken. Voices are simply too unpredictable to cancel. 2. Transparency mode isn't a gimmick. It's the safe way to stay aware of traffic or catch a boarding announcement. Mic's in, not canceling. 3. With the rumble gone, you don't have to crank the volume on flights. Lower volume, same clarity. Your ears will thank you in 20 years. So noise canceling isn't a wall. It's an echo in reverse. Hear the noise first, flip it, and erase it before it reaches you. Next time the cabin goes quiet, you'll know there's a tiny chip fighting a wave war right next to your ear. I'll see you in the next one. Plug in a modern phone, and 20 minutes later, you've got half a battery. 10 years ago, that same 20 minutes barely moved the needle. So what actually changed? Let's break down why your phone charges so fast now. First, the only number that matters: charging power. Volts times amps equals watts. Watts are simply how fast energy flows into your battery. Old chargers pushed about 5 watts. Modern fast chargers push 30, 65, even 120 watts or more. That's the whole speed difference right there. But here's the clever part. The charger doesn't just blast full power into your phone and hope for the best. First, they talk. Using a protocol like USB Power Delivery, USBPD for short, the charger asks your phone, how much can you safely take? The phone answers, they agree on a limit, and only then do they ramp up the voltage and current together. And that's exactly why any modern certified charger is safe to use. Serious power never flows until both sides have agreed on the limits. Now watch what happens during a real charge. From 0 to 80%, power stays high and the battery fills fast. Then, on purpose, it slows to a trickle from 80 to 100%. Think of filling a glass of water. You pour fast at first, then slow down near the top so it doesn't spill. Why slow down at all? Because heat is the battery's worst enemy. Fast charging is really heat management. Push hard while the battery is cool and empty, then ease off before things get hot. So why does this matter to you? 1. A cheap charger is fine, as long as it's certified. The negotiation protects your phone. It will never take more than it agreed to. 2. If your phone races to 80% and then crawls, nothing is broken. That slowdown is by design. It's protecting your battery. 3. To keep your battery healthy for years, avoid heat. Don't leave it sitting at 100% all day, and turn on optimized charging if your phone offers it. So fast charging isn't brute force. It's a negotiation. Agree on limits first. Push hard while it's safe, then back off to protect the battery. Next time your phone hits 80% before your coffee's done, you'll know exactly what just happened. I'll see you in the next one. You tap a link, and a video from the other side of the planet starts playing in seconds. No single company runs that. No one is in charge of it at all. Here's how the internet actually works. Step 1 happens before anything is even sent. Computers don't understand names, only numbers. So when you type youtube.com, your device first asks DNS, the internet's phone book. DNS looks up the name and answers with a numeric address, an IP address. That's the destination. Now the sending. Your message, a video request, a photo, an email doesn't travel in one piece. It gets chopped into small chunks called packets. Every packet is stamped with that destination IP address, like the address on an envelope, plus its position number, so everything can be put back in order later. Then the packets head out into a huge mesh of routers. A router works like a postal sorting office. It reads the address and passes the packet one hop closer to its destination. Hop, 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 across networks, cables, even oceans. And here's the clever part. Different packets from the same message can take completely different routes. If one path is busy or broken, the next packet simply goes around. At the far end, the destination collects the packets, uses those position numbers to put them back in order, and rebuilds your message. All of it in milliseconds. So who runs all this? Nobody. The internet is just thousands of separate networks that agree to pass each other's packets along. That's literally the name. Internet, a network of networks. So why does this matter to you? 1. Ever watch a page load in pieces or a video stutter? That's packets arriving late or out of order, and your device waiting so it can reassemble them. 2. When you see a DNS error or can't reach server, the site itself may be totally fine. The phone book lookup failed, so your device never got a number to call. 3. Resilience is built in. A cable gets cut, a router dies, and packets simply route around the damage automatically. Nobody has to come and fix your path. So that's the internet. Your data chopped into addressed packets, hopping router to router along whatever path works, and reassembled at the far end. Next time a page loads instantly, remember the relay race that just happened underneath it. I'll see you in the next one. Your phone ignores a hard press from a pencil, but reacts to the lightest brush of your fingertip. So how does the screen actually know your finger? Let me show you. Under the glass sits an invisible grid of fine electrodes, and each one holds a faint electrical field. This is called capacitive touch. Here's the key. Your body conducts electricity. When your fingertip comes close to the glass, it draws away a tiny bit of charge. That disturbs the field right at that exact spot on the grid. A tiny controller chip scans the whole grid hundreds of times a second, hunting for exactly that kind of disturbance. When it finds one, it reads off the coordinates. Tap at X, Y. That's your touch. And multiple fingers? Multiple disturbances. The chip tracks them all at once, and that's all multi-touch is. Pinch, zoom, two-finger scroll. Notice what's missing. Pressure. The screen never measures how hard you press. Anything conductive works. Your bare finger, touch gloves with conductive fingertips, a capacitive stylus. And anything that doesn't conduct fails. Regular winter gloves, a plastic pen, the screen simply can't feel them, no matter how hard you press. Water is the troublemaker. It conducts too. Raindrops disturb the field just like fingertips do, so your phone registers ghost touches. So why does this matter to you? 1. Your gloves don't fail because the screen is weak. They're insulators. Touch gloves simply weave conductive thread into the fingertips, so your body's charge gets through. 2. When your phone goes haywire in the rain, it isn't broken. The drops are conducting, just like fingers. Wipe the screen dry, and the ghost touches disappear. 3. Screen protectors don't block your touch, because the field reaches right through a thin insulator. Thin is the key word. Glass and plastic films are fine. Thick layers would dull it. So your screen never feels pressure at all. Your fingertip quietly steals a whisper of charge, and the grid tells the chip exactly where. Next time a raindrop opens an app on its own, you'll know exactly why. I'll see you in the next one. You lift your phone, glance at it, and it unlocks. In a pitch-black room. Here's the part most people get wrong. Your phone is not taking your picture and comparing photos. It's doing something much stranger. Let me show you. It starts with a tiny projector hidden at the top of your phone. The moment you look at it, it beams around 30,000 invisible dots onto your face. Those dots are infrared light, just outside what your eyes can see. So you never notice a thing, but for a split second your whole face is covered in a precise dot pattern. Then an infrared camera reads how that pattern lands. Dots on the tip of your nose sit closer. Dots in your eye sockets land deeper. Every single dot reports a distance. From all those distances, the phone builds a 3D depth map of your face. Not a photo, a model of its actual shape, every curve and contour. And because the dots are infrared, the system brings its own invisible light. That's why Face ID works in complete darkness. Next, that depth map is converted into a mathematical signature. Just a string of numbers describing the geometry of your face. And that signature is stored in a secure chip on the device, a sealed vault that's walled off from your apps, and even from the operating system itself. Every time you unlock, the phone takes a fresh scan, turns it into fresh math, and compares it to the stored math. Close enough? Click. You're in. It even adapts. Grow a beard, put on glasses, and the system gradually updates its stored math, so it keeps recognizing you as you change. Now, the classic attack. Hold up a printed photo of the owner. Nothing happens. A photo is flat. Every dot lands at the same depth, so there is simply no face shape to match. So why does this matter to you? 1. Nobody can unlock your phone with your selfies. Depth is the whole test, and a flat image fails it instantly. 2. Your face data stays on the device. The signature never leaves the secure chip. It isn't uploaded to any cloud, and it isn't even an image anyone could look at. 3. Big physical changes like a mask covering your face change the actual shape, and that used to break it. And careful, some Android phones use camera-only face unlock, a plain photo match, which is much easier to fool than a depth system. So Face ID doesn't see you the way a camera does. It measures you 30,000 dots at a time and keeps the math locked inside your phone. Next time your phone unlocks in total darkness, you'll know exactly how it saw you. I'll see you in the next one. You hit play on Netflix, and the movie just starts. No download bar, no waiting, even though that file might be 10 gigabytes. So how does it start in under a second? Let me show you. First surprise, streaming isn't one big download. Long before you press play, the film is processed and stored in many different qualities, from crisp 4K all the way down to phone-friendly low-res. And every one of those versions is pre-chopped into tiny chunks, just a few seconds of video each. One movie becomes thousands of little pieces, ready to go. Second surprise, those chunks usually don't come from some faraway headquarters. Copies sit on CDN servers, content delivery networks, placed physically near you, often inside your own internet provider's building. That's the instant start trick. The first chunks only have to travel a few miles, not across an ocean. Now your player gets to work. It grabs chunks just ahead of where you're watching and keeps a small stockpile ready. That stockpile is the buffer. And here's the clever bit, called adaptive bitrate. While you watch, the player constantly measures how fast chunks are arriving. Connection fast? It takes the next chunk from the high-quality row. Speed drops? It quietly switches to a lower-quality row, chunk by chunk. That's why a video sometimes goes blurry and then sharp again. It's not a glitch. It's the player trading picture quality for smooth playback in real time. And the dreaded buffering wheel? That just means the buffer ran dry. Chunks aren't arriving fast enough to stay ahead of where you're watching. One more thing. Chunks you've already watched are thrown away, not kept. Your phone isn't quietly filling up with movies. That's why download for offline is a separate feature. So why does this matter to you? 1. When the picture dips on a busy evening, it's usually your connection being shared by the whole neighborhood, not the service breaking. The player is just adapting. 2. It starts instantly because a copy of the show is already sitting near you, sometimes inside your own provider's building. 3. When the wheel spins, you can fight back. Manually lower the quality or move closer to the router. Smaller chunks arrive faster, and the buffer refills. So streaming isn't one big file. It's thousands of tiny chunks stored near you, picked to match your speed, second by second. Next time the picture snaps from blurry to sharp mid-scene, you'll know exactly what just happened. I'll see you in the next one.